Back with another couple of multiple choice questions about the particle model of solids, liquids and gases, and about how to calculate density. Hope they're useful. Whenever you're asked to pick statements, then make sure you read them really carefully, and make sure you check whether it's asking for correct statements or incorrect statements. Okay, so this one, the particles can change place and are vibrating randomly. It's asking me about particles in a liquid. This one seems okay, so I'm just going to leave this for a moment. I'm going to carry on reading. Particles are fixed on the spot. No, that's definitely not it. Vibrating vigorously. No, they're not fixed on spots in liquid, so I'm not going to pick that one. Particles are spread out, moving with random speeds and directions. Okay, particles in liquid, they are maybe a bit more spread out than a solid, but this seems more like a gas, so I'm going to exclude this one as well. Particles are always more spread out than when in the solid form, and that's the word there, always. Now, actually, this question is here because this is a common misconception about liquids. People think that liquids are always less dense than a solid. People think that when something melts, it always expands. That's not always the case. If you think about a solid like ice, well, ice is less dense than water, hence it floats. So it's not that they're always more spread out. So actually the only one that can be true is the top one. So the answer to this question is A. If you think about the diagram for particles in a solid, well, they're fixed on the spot and they'd be vibrating on that spot. And they're all pretty close together, and you normally draw them like touching like that. When you draw a liquid, people tend to draw them quite spread out like this. Actually, that would be a gas. In a liquid, they could still be touching, but the point is that they're not fixed on the spot, so they can change places. That's the important point in a liquid compared to a solid. A gas is always more spread out than the other two, so it's always less dense. It is just about calculating density, and in these new GCSEs, remember, you need to memorize equations. So a piece of balsa wood had a mass of 4 kilograms and a volume of 0.025 meters cubed. So you need to remember the equation for density, which is density equals mass over volume. And in this case, you just need to do the mass divided by the volume. Just before you do anything, just check that they're in sensible kind of units, yeah? Kilograms and meters cubed, and just go ahead and plug that into the equation. Straightforward calculation for just 1 mark here. The answer is 160. Now, is it 160 grams per centimeter cubed or 160 kilograms per meter cubed? We'll look back at the units you've used, and you can see clearly that's going to be B, 160 kilograms per meter cubed. If you want a harder A-level question, then go ahead and derive an equation that shows that temperature is proportional to the average kinetic energy of the molecules.